Today we are going to be talking about the amazing GFX 50S2. Now there are really only three things that I want to talk about with this particular camera. The first one being, of course, the sensor. What do I think about this huge medium format sensor? As somebody who shoots APS-C cameras like the Fujifilm X-H2S, the X-T4 and the X-H2. The second thing is the overall usability. Like, how does this camera feel in hand? How do I feel about the button layout and just overall build quality of the camera? The third one is, who do I think this camera is for? And is it something that I would, basically ditch my X-H2S for? Now, the first time I saw this camera and I opened up the sensor cover, I thought, oh my God, this sensor is just huge. It's enormous. And putting it next to my little APS-C X-H2S sensor, I thought, wow, this is really incredibly impressive. Now, please don't get me wrong. I firmly believe that sensor size is not everything. I think that there are way more important things to look at, like dynamic range, rolling shutter performance, and just overall how fast the sensor can read out. And this camera actually is a perfect example why sensor size is not everything. So going back to the specifics of the sensor, this is a 51.4 megapixel sensor. It is the smaller brother of the GFX 100 and the 100S. Although they are the same body size, the resolution is really the main distinguishing factor. Also, this shoots pictures in 14-bit. The larger GFX 100 and 100S shoots pictures in 16-bit, and that is the main difference between those two cameras. So I had the opportunity to take this camera to Paris with me. We were doing some work over there, and I was just primarily using this camera as a photography camera, which is what it's intended for. And yeah, let me show you a few examples of what I was doing in Paris and let me know what you think. So I have to be honest, the first time that I saw the first just simple JPEG coming out of this camera, I was honestly blown away. I really have never seen an image that good coming out of any cameras. And I mean, I've shot with, Z6 cameras, I shot with the S5, I've shot with the brand new A7 IV, and I have never in my life seen anything as good as that. Of course, the camera body is only half the story, so let me introduce you to this is the 80mm f1.7. Now this is a beast, an absolute beast of a lens. It is fairly heavy, but it is absolutely incredible. So the dynamic range on this camera in photography mode is just absolutely astonishing. It is very impressive. When I looked at that first JPEG, I immediately noticed just how close to a photograph the image looks, more than it looks like a digital image. And you could really see that when you start zooming into the image. You can see like the pixels just kind of really blend together. And it doesn't look like you can see the little tiny pixels, each and every single one of them. It really looks more like a painting, like a photograph. Now, yes, the camera does have a movie mode. It's just a switch, which I really like that, how they set that up. You have still, and then you just have movie. And you flip that switch and the camera is just automatically running. Now you're capped off at 1080p. You can only do 1080p 30 frames per second and below. But hey, it's there if you really need to capture something with a medium format camera. I would not recommend it. The video features are really lacking. Now, of course, the camera is not designed for that, but yeah, that's the only thing I can really say about the video functions. It's like really lacking. It's not for video at all. Now, because it is a medium format camera and it is not a it's not a new medium format camera, the autofocus is really slow. Now, coming from the X-H2S, which is an incredibly fast photography camera, getting used to something like this definitely takes time. But you know what? I do have to say that I do appreciate the camera in a sense, because it forces you to just kind of slow down and really pick your shots. And you know what, I can really appreciate that. Now, I do appreciate that Fujifilm has stuck with the same menu layout as the X-T4 and the X-H2, and you of course get all the film simulations like Nostalgic Neg, which is what I used to shoot all the footage, and it came out just so beautiful, straight out of camera. One thing that I do want to say is that this file sizes are huge, so you're looking at like 22 megabytes for just a JPEG, and you're looking at 105 megabytes for a raw image. That's like crazy. Now, the first thing that I noticed is, of course, the size difference between like a X-H2, which is a pretty big camera, and this camera. So you're like way bigger, and also the lenses, they're just way bigger. They're just more, just the barrels are just like so big, and everything is just so much heavier. Now, moving on to usability and just overall how the camera feels in hand compared to, let's say, like a X-H2S, which is, you know, has a deep grip and it's a pretty large camera. Now, by far my favorite feature about the body is that top screen. That top screen is so useful. I wish that all of the larger body Fujis have that. Even in the X-mount series, like the, you know, X-H2S, which has a top screen, but it doesn't have the cool animations like the GFX series. I love how when you turn the dials, you can see the ISO dial changing, you can see the shutter speed dial changing. I just absolutely love it. You can see the top screen during daytime, you can see it during nighttime, and it's just such a cool, awesome screen to have. So beyond the buttons, the build quality of this camera is really second to none. I have never ever seen a camera built this tough. It is just basically, it's just all metal. Everything is all metal. Yeah, my X-H2S is all metal too, but it just doesn't feel hefty. It just doesn't feel like, this feels like a tank. It literally feels like a tank. If I drop this thing, I think it would like maybe crack the concrete. You know, it just feels really solid. It is the overall just the best built camera that I have ever held in my hand. So beyond that top screen, I absolutely love just the button layout. I love how they have the Q button just kind of protruding a little bit. It's just such a beautiful placement. It's just so easily accessible with your thumb. I love how they have the playback button just nice, big, dedicated on the camera. Just easily, just right there for your thumb to just press, and you can just go ahead and just start reviewing all your images. You don't have, you know, an up, down, left, right, you know, dedicated button. You just have that little thumb, you know, joystick thing, and that is such a smart decision, I think, on Fuji's end, because the camera just looks, you know, simple on the back, but everything is just accessible, easily accessible, and it's right there, and it's just so perfect for photographers, I think. So because this is a photography camera, I figured I would talk about the EVF just a little bit. I will say that I didn't find it to be anything extraordinary. I think that it is very comparable to the X-H2S EVF. Maybe it's not as sharp, maybe it doesn't have as much resolution, but I found it to be extremely useful in a, you know, just an environment where I was outside, it was super sunny, or even in, you know, inside in like a photography type or studio type of environment. I felt like it was a nice EVF. nothing special to talk about really there. Now this takes me to my last point, and who is this camera for, and is this a camera that I would choose over, like, let's say my XH2S? I think it is absolutely perfect for a studio setup. It is designed for just like high-end, high detail work. I think you could put this camera in any studio environment for photography and it will blow your mind. I think that is absolutely what it's for. It is designed for just printing large billboards. It is designed for, you know, taking pictures of like beautiful headshots, taking pictures of models, taking pictures of just cars and just jewelry and things like that. It shines for that. It is not a photography camera for fast moving subjects. You don't want to take this to like a Formula F1 race. It will not perform in that scenario. So don't buy it for that. Buy it for just a studio environment. For that, it is absolutely, I would think, one of the best cameras for that. Second only to the bigger brother, the GFX 100 and the 102 that just got released. So just to wrap up this video, I want to give you my opinion as somebody that shoots with APS-C. I've been shooting APS-C cameras, starting with the X-T3, now with the XH2S, and now looking at this medium format camera. Is it something that I would recommend? Is it something that I would switch to? And I will say for sure I would not switch to this camera because I am primarily a video shooter and this is not a video camera. This is a photography camera. I would absolutely love to have this as like a secondary camera, but I would definitely not give up my XH2S for this camera. When you look at it overall, you're getting IBIS. You're getting autofocus, even though it's not the best autofocus in the world compared to, like, the XH2S and some of the things that Sony offers in full frame. You're not getting autofocus like that, but you're still getting autofocus, which is saying a lot more than what the competitors offering, like Hasselblad and Phase 1. You're getting a really high quality medium format sensor. You're getting a lot of megapixels, and I think you're getting a beautiful body that is just built super tough. It's designed extremely well. I think for the money, you cannot beat it. I don't know, you tell me if you can. I would love to know what medium format camera you would recommend over this camera. I would love to know in the comment section. Please let me know. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell when I release new content. I would highly appreciate that. And if you want to talk to me, please leave a comment in the comment section. And if you want to give me any advice on this camera or anything else, please let me know, because I am always willing to learn and I love reading comments. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.